Yeah, man, look forward to this. This is gonna be fun. Episode 1, first of many.
Here we go, bro.
First of many.
We're
So
here.
yep. So while we wait, I thought maybe we'd do some Q&As and just trying to like tell people what it is we're trying to do here. So
Yeah, bro.
a couple of the questions I've gotten since we announced this the other day. Number one, is this only going to be streaming music? That was from my wife Amanda. No,
Screaming.
this is not only going to be streaming music, metalcore, whatever the guest wants to talk about. Our first guest is my boy Juice, who wanted to talk about Homesick, which does have some streaming and growling, also some clean vocals. But
Lots.
yeah, this is that's why
Yeah.
we're doing this one first. But no, whatever the guest wants to talk about, we will listen to. We will come with thoughts, and we will discuss those thoughts. So that's what's going on here. So if you're interested in being on the show, drop a comment and let us know. Let us know what the album is, and yeah, it does not have to be in the niche subgenre of metalcore, emo, pop punk, whatever that might be.
No, it could be Bootsy Collins.
Bootsy Collins, yeah, could
So,
be once once Dennis finally listens to rumors, maybe we could do rumors. So
bro. Shots
love you, Dennis.
fired, bro.
Love you,
Dennis.
Dennis.
Shout out to
Can't
our
wait.
boy Dennis.
Can't wait.
That's funny, bro.
Death proof. That's our boy.
Yeah, that's our dude.
Yep.
He always gets a
Uh
shout out.
yep. Some other questions we've gotten, what's up with the Flamingo? So yeah, if you follow the Flamingo Friends VC that we did back in December, the Flamingo is kind of the unofficial mascot for our crew that goes to Furnace Fest, just the music crew. It's a mix of everybody. It's someone I went to college with, Casey, his friend Scott, some people from Texas that Scott knows, which is Glenn here, right? That's how you were in the crew, right? Yep.
Yeah.
And Dennis from Texas, and then just the circle kind of went out from there. We all got together. One of the fondest memories from Furnace Fest was waking up and watching the Blink 182 videos for One More Time, where we all dang near cried afterwards. And then More Than You Know, which just totally blew my mind. And I got to give it to Glenn. He was the one that knew they were coming out and suggested we all watch them in our PJs there with our coffee. So that
I
was
forced everybody. It was
that,
like a PowerPoint presentation. I was like, you guys are all gonna watch this, and yeah, we all cried afterwards, basically.
that was a special moment. Special
Yeah,
moment. What's up,
good to
Dan?
see
See
it, man.
Thrash. See Thrash in the
Dan,
house.
what's good, bro?
Yeah. Some other FAQs. So yeah, it is not just punk metalcore. That's what's up with the flamingo. Oh, I didn't finish the story. So I started wearing flamingos at work on Fridays. Like just got a handful of flamingo polo shirts. I was doing flamingo Friday only in the summer, only from Memorial Day to Labor Day. And then a couple of the guys started doing it, and then it just kind of became the mascot. So you might have seen us at 24. We had a bunch of the flamingo merch on. We had shirts, we had buttons we were giving out to people. You probably got some if you were there. And then when it came back from the dead, we woke the shed. uh, Wake the Dead is also our unofficial anthem, ironically. There's a long story behind that. We won't get into that right
So
now.
much hate, bro.
But yeah, Wake the
Shout out,
Dead.
comeback kid. We love you.
Wake the Dead. That's the unofficial flamingo anthem. So yeah, shout
That's
out. So
funny, bro.
yeah.
Wake the shed.
Wake the Shed. Another question: is this going to be a podcast? And the answer is maybe. So I did set up a Spotify stream. I do have some podcasting experience. I did take the test that we did last night. I ripped the audio, dropped it into GarageBand. It sounded pretty good. So if that all sounds good when we do this, then yeah, I'm going to rip it. I'm going to throw some music bumpers on the front and back, and we'll put that in there. This part probably won't be in the podcast. That's just chopping it up. We'll do an official start here in a couple minutes. And then afterwards, we'll probably shut down the like dedicated section that'll be on the pod, and then we'll chop it up a little bit if there's any Q&A in the comments or whatever. So stick around for that if you want. But that's kind of the general plan right now. Glenn, do you have anything you want to add to that? Like kind of why we're doing this in general? I know this was kind of your idea.
Yeah, I mean, super excited you wanted to join and tag team the mission. I just had an idea a couple years ago and was like, it'd be fun to chop it up with people about albums that mean a lot to you. Music has a cool way of relating with us and getting us into great moods, bad moods, pulling us out of those things uh, like nothing else can. And so it's a great equalizer. So I was like, let's talk about music that helped influence us, whether good, bad, indifferent. And the things that, you know, we can all share common goals with, and open up the dialogue for hard conversation, for triumphant, for joyous, for whatever it is, and just bringing back those memories. Because it seems like whoever you talk to, everybody's got a story of, you know, the music that shaped them, and what they listen to now. And yeah, so that was kind of like the ethos of, or not the ethos, but the genesis of how I got here. So thanks for being a part of it, dude. This is now a tag team journey that we want to bring people in and hang out. Brent's awesome because he's just he's all about the, yeah, you're a good hang, and it's fun to hang out with you, and yeah, you're a good dude. So I
I feel like
appreciate
we're
you.
each other's number one hype man, so that's why this works. Because
Yeah,
I
exactly.
want you to get everything you want, and you want me to be fulfilled, and this is glorious.
Yeah,
So
man. So
yeah,
here
when
we
you
are.
told me about the idea, songs that saved my life, albums that saved my life, that was a great idea. Music, like you said, can get you through some hard times. It can get you through it. Not everyone has one of those stories, so sometimes it's just this album. Hint, hint. This album opened up a whole new genre to me. We'll
Yeah,
talk about this when we do life in general, but if we're friends in part because of music, that's probably because of life in general. You know, if it wasn't for that, I probably wouldn't have started a band. I probably wouldn't have listened to a lot of the stuff I listened to over the years. So I
yeah,
put life in general like big on that. It might have happened anyway, but I don't know. So
totally, bro.
uh, yeah. So the
Great
albums
album.
that changed your life, so albums that brought you through it or brought you to it, whatever that might be. I
Yeah,
said that's a good way to do it.
we don't want to gatekeep that. Whoever,
Yeah.
it's really open to whoever. We just want to get to know people and hear your stories through music. And yeah, it seems like like I said, everybody's got one. And yeah, if you decide to hang out with us and jump on here, you'd probably have that story, and we're excited to hear it. So
Yeah. All right, I lied. This is going to be on the pod because we're not going to do that again, and we didn't do the warm intro. So there it
that's
is.
fair.
So
That's fair.
welcome to This Album Changed My Life, episode 1 with Glenn Elmore. You just heard what it's all about. So here we go. So Glenn, when I told you about this, I told you were going to be the first guest. You said you wanted to do Homesick by Do a Day to Remember.
Yep.
You said you were 13 years old when you first encountered this album. All right, so set the stage for me. What was going on in your life? Were you listening to stuff like this? Was this the first that kind of opened the door for you? Just kind of set the scene for 13-year-old Juice.
Yeah, I mean, I was always big on MXPX, Blink, so more of that like more pop punk type stuff. And one of my buddies had put me on to Under Oath and Atreyu, uh, from first to last, or not from first to last, from Autumn to Ashes. So like that like Victory and Tooth and Nail side of metalcore, and I was like, this is so cool. And so that was kind of like the stuff I was listening to. And I was also, you know, a skater, so anything
Mm.
that was on Tony Hawk, that was mad influential for me as a kid. But yeah, my life was weird, dude. My dad, I lived with my dad in California. My mom had moved to Texas, and my dad had just had a stroke, and he was like my best friend. Him and I would go to shows. Huge Iron Maiden fan. That's like my all time, one of my all time favorites. So we'd always go to shows. And I was just in this weird place in life because I was like, dude, I lost my, like, I had to mourn the loss of like my best friend because he didn't die, but everything changed from there, like
Mm.
completely different. And yeah, man. So I'm sitting, we had do you remember TiVo, dude?
Yeah,
Dude, so
the
we had,
precursor to DVR. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
exactly. We had TiVo, dog, and I would always record Family Guy, Headbangers Ball, because Headbangers Ball always came on at like 1 a.m.,
1
you know,
a.m.
and
Yeah.
I couldn't watch it. I was like, this is too late. Or if I did stay up, I was probably out being a foolish skater dude with, that was 13, you know what I mean, with my friends.
Mm.
And so yeah, I was recorded that, and then there was Fuse number one countdown. Do you remember Fuse, bro? The
I
channel?
do. I do.
Yeah, bro. So they had Hoppus on music. Fuse was off the chain, dude.
Yep.
I wish Fuse was still around. But they had number one countdown, and so I don't remember if it was like weekly or like how it worked, but there was like every whatever it was, every number one countdown episode was like a different genre. So I would always try to find the rock one because it never said. You just had to record everything on TiVo, or like that's what it was. And I remember, dude, I'll never forget this. Chilling on this like futon couch thing, and A Day to Remember. This comes on, so I hadn't heard A Day to Remember before,
Mm.
and uh, the Downfall of Us All comes on, And the beginning of that video, it's like kind of quiet, and then it goes into the da 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 da. And dude,
Da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
yes, bro. I'll never forget hearing those gang vocals, and I was like, dude, this is it. And then jumping into the syncopated, because I hadn't heard this before. I hadn't heard something that was like this metalcore fused with like easy core, which is what we know
Mm-hmm.
now, and like pop punk.
Mm-hmm.
It was like they really bridged that gap with this album,
Yep.
and they did it. On the album before this, for those who have heart, they did that, but this was like a whole nother level.
Mm-hmm.
And I hadn't heard this before, and I'm listening to it, and I was like, bro, this is sick. And at that time, no one was really doing most of the bands that I liked were doing primarily screaming and
Mm-hmm.
some clean vocals. Like the choruses would be clean vocals, like a Trey U, Under Oath, all
Yep.
those bands that I mentioned, that
Yep.
was their thing. And then this is like the opposite. So it was like more clean vocals with some screaming. And I was like, this is so dope. And I will never forget, like, even to this day, if I know it's coming on, it's different. But if I just hear those gang vocals, it always gives me the chills. And then live, bro, when you're in the crowd and you're like, da 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 da, dude, it's so sick. So that was what was going on, man. This album is I hadn't even listened to the album. I just heard that song and I was like, bro, this is incredible. I'll never forget that moment, bro. Just sitting there being like, this is dope. So yeah, that was my first introduction to A Day to Remember. And
I
then
mean,
yeah,
there wasn't a lot of stuff like this at the time. Like, I
no.
mean, people like to say that maybe Newfound Glory was the first easy core band, but I mean, they weren't doing a whole album of it. Like, it was just kind of here and
Mm-mm.
there. The International Superheroes thing side project they did, that wasn't this. That was different. I mean, I guess you could say 4 Years Strong. I guess you could say Rise was sort of
Yeah,
in that vein, but that was different too. Like there was
nah, but
nothing
that was
like
like
this.
heavily. That was a lot of synth,
Yeah.
and I didn't even hear 4 Year Strong until Enemy of the World. And
Okay.
speaking of Newfound Glory, we have to talk about. This is part of the reason this is so fun for me. Chad Gilbert, their guitar player who produced
Hmm.
this album, he's produced some incredible records. But this is obviously in my favorite album, but like ever. But this is like it's just so good. And it's cool. I mean, he had influences. He was in Shai Hulud. He's doing all this hardcore stuff. That was clearly like his thing, and he brought
Hmm.
that into pop punk. And with this, it's almost like it's cool when producers can do this. I feel like Jerry Finn did this with a lot of the music that he did. While I don't know if he was a musician, he could take other people's ideas and just make them like so
Better.
profoundly
Yeah.
incredible. Yes.
Yep.
He did that with Blink. I mean, Mark Hoppus, definitely Mark. I'm pretty sure Thomas said this too, but they're like, we attribute our sound and who we are to Jerry Finn. Like
Yep.
that's who made their sound. So
R.I.P.
anyways,
R.I.P.
not
Jerry.
100%, bro.
R.I.P.
So Chad Gilbert had a huge stamp on this, and you can tell. And I think that was kind of what he did with this. Of like it seemed like he found a band that was like, dude, this is like exactly what I want. And Homesick, 10 out of 10. It's like he just killed it. So, but yeah, there wasn't anything like this at the time. This was also, by the way, just to reference time. This came out in 2009. So,
Right.
um, yeah, nothing really was like out. It was either like really heavy or like depressing heavy or
Yep.
just like this is what it is. And this was like kind of that was that bridge. So I feel like it changed the pop punk scene forever.
I
So
agree. I was all in on pop punk. My journey is from Life in General through Blink, and then Enema comes out, and then that totally changes the sound. I was in a pop punk band because of that, and I was,
exactly.
living those changes live. So, I'm a little further down the road than you are.
Soon
Just a
I'll have
touch,
that.
just a
I'll
touch,
have it
just a
soon,
touch.
yeah.
But yeah. So I mean, that was my journey, and then yeah, I got into emo, quote unquote, in college. At some point, we'll end up talking about Thursday because Full Collapse is another one that's like, I don't normally like stuff like this, but I like this a lot. And I have one of those where I was the first time I heard it moments.
Yep.
Um, but I even then and even now, like I listen to way heavier stuff now than I ever have. But even now, I still just kind of put up with the screaming and growling because I like the music. Like
So you're not a big fan of
I'm
that.
not a huge growling fan. I'm not a
Yeah.
huge screaming fan. Like I like the technical work that goes into metalcore. But if Counterparts had all clean vocals, Counterparts might be my favorite band of all time because I
Hey,
love the
shout out
music.
Counterparts, bro. That's where
Dude,
Scott and I met.
905, 905. I
Yeah.
I
Counterparts is off the chain though,
but
bro.
what they're doing
Whew.
musically is just so incredible, and that to me that's the thing. Like
Yeah, totally, bro.
I put up with the growling. The new EPs, it's not for me though, dude. That is just brutal.
That's
That
a dude, and the lyrics are mad intense. You're
brutal.
like,
Oh, I mean, they're all intense though. It's
on it.
about like
Well, I know that they're all intense, but like what they wrote about in that EP is exactly the kind of rage that you would expect that music to sound like. It literally
right,
marries it perfect.
yeah,
But like their other stuff, while like yes, it's sad and there's like other crazy stuff going on, I think that like there's just their melodic riffs. This is not
yeah,
about counterparts, by the way, but a good side quest to go on.
yeah,
Oh man, I feel like there's so many bands that like influence this stuff, and I feel like I know that they're big influences like Misery Signals and whatnot, but
yeah,
like, bro, there's so many bands like that for like a day to remember. That's like, man, if it wasn't for Homesick, I don't
yeah.
know where like some of this stuff would be. So
And so yeah, I got the same kind of story. Like I remember hearing "Downfall of Us All" and being like, "Oh, that's catchy. Like what the heck? Like I never heard anything like this. You know, just that riff, that intro, and then it gets popping, and then it goes straight into the pop punk. You know, and it's like, whoa, what are we doing here? You know."
yeah, bro.
So then
Yeah,
you
that
think the
was what
whole
was
thing's
cool.
gonna be you think the whole thing's gonna be easy toward, and then it gets way darker as it goes on. You know, like the middle's still pretty dark. You know.
Dude, okay, so that's like another, that's a good, like, so leading out of that story, that was the only song I'd heard. And that's like, obviously, a Day to Remember's like anthem, right?
Yeah.
Is Downfall of a Soul. Everybody knows the Downfall of a Soul. And I didn't have like money, bro. I was a 13-year-old kid. And so because everything that happened with my dad, that's when my mom was like, hey, bro, you're going to have to move to Texas. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me. And, you know, I grew up in California. Like, Texas is like a whole nother country. And I'm a 13-year-old kid, like, bro, what the heck? Because to me, I didn't know anything about it. So I was like, bro, everybody looks like Yosemite Sam is riding horses to school. And like, that's genuinely, I didn't know anything about it, bro. And I was like, no way, bro. So I'm moving. And before I go, one of our close family friends, I was like, hey guys, can you please buy me this album? And they're like, yeah, sure. So they take me to Best Buy, and dude, those were the glory days of Best Buy, bro. When you could get the CD was in the plastic, and then the people would take it out, bro, and you just had this beautiful CD. It was the best time ever. Or you would just go to the rack and just go through them like you do
Mhm.
vinyl, and like you know you just pull them out. So they had Homesick, and so we drove from California to Texas, and this was like the Houston area. Bro, that album, I remember listening to it and I was like, this is off the chain. Like, even like lyrically, like it's pretty dark. There's like some dark stuff in here. Then you have triumphant stuff. That's what's cool about this album is there's like so many stuff. And then it ends with like probably the most like epic like acoustic anthem that
Mhm.
builds up. Um, But yeah, man, I the name was so fitting, and I think that like that was probably also part of the reason why I gravitated towards it so
Mhm.
much. While like the song "Homesick," this is the beauty of music is that like I believe that song is probably more about like going on tour and not being around people and like feeling isolated. But music has a beautiful way too of speaking to you in the places that you're at, and that for me was that. And so I'll never forget, bro. I'm listening to the album, and like I had said, I'm into more heavy stuff at the time. Like what I was listening to, what I would consider emo. I know it's not,
Mhm.
but more of that like Atreyu and Under Oath stuff, where it was just like real like scene bangs and stuff that I always wanted.
Atreyu,
And
shout out to Chris from the Flamingo crew. Shout out to
straight
Chris.
up, bro,
Yeah.
Atreyu, bro, yeah, The Curse, man, what a fantastic album. Um, but Mr. Highway's thinking about the end comes on. Never forget the first time it
Yep.
is. I'm in the car, bro, and I'm like laying there in the back seat and I'm just like, what am I listening to? And like, because the whole album, it's got like, before that, you have these like melodic riffs and like there is screaming, there are these other things. Also, can you hear my dog whining?
Not really. You're good.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's like these riffs and stuff, but then this song comes on, and this is like by far the heaviest song on this album. And
Yeah.
to this day, I remember running. I don't know if you ever had those like, you know, like when the Undertaker is like, you think he's down and out, but then
Pops
he
up.
like comes,
Yeah.
bro. He comes
Yeah.
up, bro. He comes up, bro, and he's ready for a Tombstone Pile Driver. That song, Tombstone Pile Drive Me, bro. I'm listening to it in the back seat, and I sit up, and I was like, no way, because this song. call it nostalgia, call it whatever you want. I think has the best breakdown of all time. Like, this could be argued. I feel like some people would probably think this, but dude, that just like on the crash.
Disrespect your surroundings.
Yeah, bro. And then
Were you able to disrespect your surroundings in the backseat of the
no, but I didn't
whatever it
expect
was you
that.
were in?
No, dude, I didn't expect that to come, and I freaked out, bro, because I was like, I had never heard a breakdown so juicy, bro.
Yeah.
And then at the end of it, just that beautiful, he just hits the bell on the ride.
Yep.
Ding!
Did
Yeah, bro. And then
it.
he's like, "You won't make it out," and you're just like, I just remember, bro, my face literally
Mind blown.
melted.
Mind blown.
Yeah, that because before I heard that, bro, 2 songs before that is "I'm Made of Wax," Larry. What are you made of? And I'm
Yeah.
like, this song is the best because I loved the Devil Wears Prada, and Mike is in that song and has his little feature.
Yeah.
And then I hear this song, I was like, no way, bro. And so that whole album, bro, it was just so groundbreaking for me, like moving. That album, this was a close one for me. This album and then Plus 44 When Your Heart Stops Beating. Those were two
Yep.
albums that like,
That's right here. That's over here.
yeah.
Maybe
Pull it
there it
out,
is.
bro.
Right on the edge. Yeah,
Let the
it's all right. Fine.
is it oh it's two. There
There
we
we go.
go.
What I got the blue. I think I got the blue cloud is what I got. Yeah.
Yeah, bro.
The blue cloud.
That's a beautiful record, front to
Yep.
back.
Yep.
Slept on, highly underrated.
Oh,
Probably the best thing Mark
by
Hoppus
who?
has
Who
ever
slept
done.
on that?
Nah,
Who's
dude,
underrating that?
so many people don't. They're like, bro, we don't need to get in. This is a whole. You don't got to get me on Blink right now. I will talk about Blink forever. So we're gonna sidetrack or side quest that another time. But yeah, man. So I don't want to get too crazy and like repetitive with this, but yeah,
Yeah.
the idea of being homesick, being
Yeah.
somewhere that I had no idea about, going to a new school, doing all this stuff, being in the hardest time of my life at the time, and then having an album that I felt like was like there for me. It's kind of
Mhm.
weird to like say, but like I
Yeah.
had that with me, and like I'm very grateful for that. An album that um, I was able to listen to, and when I was at the darkest times, like I could have that and like instantly, not necessarily would I be happier, but
Right.
I felt better because I was like, okay, like I have something. Music's weird like that. It like gives you
Yep.
that like nurturing vibe. So yeah, Homesick means a lot to me. So that is definitely the album that saved my life. So and here it is. For those of you that haven't seen it, I'm sure most of you have. This is
Yep.
the cover artwork, and
Homesick.
I don't know if yeah, dude, it's so fun having like the jumbo albums of stuff. I remember like the CD with like the. I always thought this was cool. It's like a little note on the back that looks taped for the song list. And then two, this was like it's so funny, bro. When you look at like this picture, this is when Denny was still in the band, but like
Right.
you like look at it, it's like this was like that time, this like whole vibe, bro. Like Hot Topic, like crazy. Yeah, just wild. So yeah, man. This was
You missed the polo shirts pop punk phase, man. The like 99 Blink. If you look at like the Dude Ranch stuff, like they're all wearing polo shirts and stuff. Like you missed
hey,
that area. But I was there.
uh,
I was there for that.
I'm glad you were there for that. I'm glad I wasn't, bro. You know what I'm
The puka
saying?
shells. I'm proud to
I
say I
mean, we
never owned a
did.
puka shell necklace. I am proud
I
to
do
say.
I feel like my freshman and sophomore year in high school was like the Hollister phase though. So
Yeah.
you know, with like the also
Yep.
pop collars and but I refused, bro. I was like, I'll never do that. I was
I've
the guy
never
I was
worn
like,
two
I have to
polo
wear
shirts.
skinny jeans. Yeah, two polo shirts at the same
I've,
time is diabolical, bro.
I've never worn two polo shirts.
Nah.
Not once. Not
That
once.
to me, that's some like high school musical type stuff, bro. I was like, nah, I'm not about that. To each their own. I vibe with it. I'm not trying to yuck anybody else's
Yeah.
yum.
We're not.
But
We're not
2009 and
fashion
10,
shaming. Yeah.
wild, bro. I think we'd all agree that like the choices we made during that time were a little wild, and we're
Yeah.
probably all glad that that phase is gone and we're back in the '90s era of fashion. So
So when you think about this album now and you listen to it, how does it make you feel? Because you talked about like it was comforting, but it's also like it's dealing with these themes that are what you're going through. You're sad, it's dealing with that. Like, are you able to listen to that and be happy about it, or is it tough to listen to it because it reminds you of this tough times? Like, where's the balance there?
yeah, great question, man. Yeah, I think that I'm in retrospect, it's you know the reason why it still resonates is because yeah, I am grateful that for those times and like it takes doesn't always like music you can take you back to those times, I don't feel that way with this album because I feel like this album was like the anthem for my whole like my life from there, where I was like, I'm always listening to this album, and I was there for me with the good times, there for me with the bad. Started with the bad, but yeah, I think now, yeah, this album definitely brings me a lot of joy, and I'm grateful because you look back and you're like, dang, that sucked, but like you can listen to music and be like, this doesn't always happen. There are times where I'm like, I won't listen to this music because it reminds me too much of that.
Hmm.
This is what I jam that whole time. This
Hmm.
is I think there's certain albums or like certain things that you like cling to, and this is one of those for me where it's like, nah, this is probably like the album no matter what that I can jam. I was showing a friend, we were on our way up to do a camp, and he had never heard it. And like it's just so fun. Like sometimes like this is probably going to be an ongoing theme as we talk through
Hmm.
these like different episodes is like, bro, the what I would give to listen to the Downfall of Us All again for the first time,
Yep.
or like I don't know, bro, like you listen to that and you're like, oh, just hearing those gang vocals, I'll never forget how it made me feel, and like getting to share that with others, and like it's just fun, dude. So this album, yeah, now it's like if people haven't heard it, I'm gonna be like, you got to listen to the whole thing because, like I said, everybody knows like a few tracks on here. Have faith in me, but you got to listen to the whole thing. It's so good, so front to back.
I
So
mean, everyone's heard Downfall of Us All and Mr. Highway. Like everyone's heard those, and they've been meme to heck. Like the I remember the one a couple years ago where it's Busta Rhymes and then the DJ cuts it to da 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 da
dude,
da
no,
at the
that was
wedding. Do you remember that one?
hard,
That's so
bro.
hard. And then
Dude,
there's
I
been all
I
the
wish I
disrespect your
did that.
surroundings. Like there's the one with the little
Yeah.
girl in her room. Like
Or what about COVID? And they had the spray bottles like disinfect your, and I was like, yeah, bro. Yeah, they did
um,
everything with it.
my doppelganger Jeremy. We talked about this yesterday, but I've heard from multiple people that I look like Jeremy McKinnon, like multiple. And I gotta say, I see it. There's pictures of him where I see it. I saw a video of him a while back, and I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. I did. That's what everybody's talking about.
That's crazy. Yeah, he
Yeah.
has his beard is just like crazy thick,
Well,
but
I can't
you'll
get mine to grow that shape, but I want it to, but it gets all wiry, and then it just kind of like I
mm.
can't get it to do that. Like him and
But you still have a
Bret.
head of hair, dog.
I
Like
do, yeah.
I'm balding, and so thankfully I have a beard. But like, bro, you got that head of
I'm
hair and
I'm
looking
definitely
fresh, bro.
going gray, definitely going gray, but I'm not worried about losing it. Yeah, I'm not
Bro,
worried about
that's
that.
that's that wisdom, bro.
Yeah, when the beard gets long, dude, it's like really bad though. And,
That's fun.
yeah. All right, I think we're
Sweet,
coming in
bro.
for a landing here. If you could say something to 13-year-old Glenn in the back of that car when you think about what he was feeling and being afraid of moving and all that, what would you say to him?
It's gonna be all right, bro. Yeah, that's I think when you're going through tough times, no matter what it is, whatever age you are, you just need some comfort. Yeah, if I could go back, I would say it's going to be okay, and I promise you it'll get better. Life has a weird way of swinging at you when you're not expecting it, and a lot of decisions I would go back and redo and whatnot. But I think that yeah, 13-year-old Glenn had no idea what he was in for. Turns out moving to Texas was awesome. And while I didn't like it the first year, I made some dear friends. And now we're back in Texas. I live in Texas again. And so it's cool to see that full circle because I was like, bro, I hate this place. And now here's where I am. I had to get out of that little town, though.
Mm.
That was wild. And then, I did remember writes about that in their next album,
Hmm.
and so yeah, getting out of the town I was in was probably the best thing because like I didn't want to get stuck. I was like, this is what people write songs about, and yeah. So, but 13-year-old Glenn had no idea what he was in for. Thought he was going to be around a bunch of cowboys. Turns out, I was just met with a lot of love and people that actually wanted to invest in me. And while life still wasn't the best, I can look back and be like, yeah, bro, I had a lot of people that tried and like cared. So yeah,
Yeah. Eric says no love for Angleton. I see.
yeah, Angleton is whack, bro. You know it to be true. Anybody, you know it to be true, bro. Eric, bro, if you you had to get out of Angleton, bro. Angleton's wild, bro. I didn't want to say the town name only because like no one would know, but Eric's in here and he also went to high school with me. So
Yeah.
yeah, that town was whack, bro. I can't see what people are saying though, which is a
Oh,
bummer.
it's just. Oh, I think that. Yeah, I think that you'd. You'd have to be a moderator. We'll figure that out.
That's
Episode
cool,
2.
bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, episode 2, moderation.
Episode 2. Life in general.
Yeah. So yeah, that's it. Yeah, we can land the plane. I think it was fun. That was a good time, good talk. Just real brief, talking about music in general and this album, and nothing crazy. Just life and life in general. Great segue into next week.
Good segue. Yep.
So
All right. Yeah, we'll see what it's going to be next week. I don't know that it's going to be Tuesday, but I think Tuesdays are good for us. So I don't know. Another FAQ, is it going to be weekly? I don't know. We'll see. We'll announce it when it's going, and we'll let you know. Next one will be Life in General. We got at least one great guest that's interested in coming on. Jason from Unoriginal Vinyl. Most of you guys know who that is.
let's go.
So that's going to be a fun one. That's going to be a fun story. So at This Album Changed My Life. If you look for that on Spotify in the next day or two, you'll see the podcast. If you want to subscribe, listen to it in your car without seeing our mugs, then feel free to do that too.
Probably a better way to listen, honestly.
Honestly, yeah. Yeah, I don't want to break your camera, you know. So that's it. This album changed my life. Appreciate it. Thanks for stopping by. If you're not watching this live, thanks for listening. Thanks for finding it. And we'll see you next time.
Let's go.
Peace.